Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I'm here with my co-host,
Coni Meyers with Kick Butt Leadership.
and we are at the Hope to Hope conference. We have had quite an adventure over the last 4 days.
Most definitely.
With all of the speakers and all of the amazing things that have come out of this conference already. This conference was started, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but for those of you who are only going to watch this session, I need to tell you just this part. This conference was started because of the loss of my oldest son almost 17 years ago. I had to make a decision of how I was going to handle some things because I didn't want him to be forgotten. And I didn't want to spend the rest of my life grieving and not having some sort of celebration. So I actually have learned how to celebrate his life by serving. And this conference, it means like so much to me because it's in honor of my son, Justin Andrew, that we have been able to bring all these people together. There's no selling, there's no recruiting, there's no anything except just beautiful people coming and sharing their hearts, their stories, and giving hope to everyone that's watching. So once again, thank you for following us on this conference, and I cannot wait to get to our next beautiful speaker. She is someone who I met not very long ago and absolutely fell in love with because she is so kind and sweet, and she has such a heart for mamas in particular that she gives of herself in a huge way because she has two littles at home that she still is raising, but she's able to come on and give other mamas hope for healthy babies and healthy lives and some self-care and things that we forget as mamas. My youngest is 28. So, and I don't mean 28 months, I mean 28 years. And so I appreciate what she does, and I actually follow her as well because I learn stuff for my sake from her. But welcome, Beck Mills, to Hope to Hope.
Thank you. Hello. So happy to be here with you guys. Thanks so much for inviting me on.
Oh, thank you for coming.
We should probably explain that she's in Australia.
Yes, she's in Western Australia, and we're in Texas. And so there is a delay, and we are trying really hard not to interrupt her because we were talking beforehand, and I think I interrupted her 2 or 3 times already because there is a delay. So we are going to seem like maybe we are hesitant a bit, but it's only because we want to make sure that, you're able to hear all that she has to say. So, Beck, I know you brought us an amazing story, and I know that you have so much to offer the world. What story of hope did you bring for the conference?
So, yeah, I definitely have 2 little fellas at home. They will be 3 and 1 in September, which is insane. And the story that I wanted to share today, in hope that it will give hope to others, is, as I said to Kim and Connie just before, is our kids teach us so many things. And I think starting from when they're the size of, little tiny grapes in our belly, and they teach us so much. And I learnt so much the first time around with my oldest son, Ezra. As you can imagine, those mums that are out there, you know exactly what I mean. You learn a lot about everything about babies, obviously, about yourself as a person as well. And the second time I became a mama, so with my second boy, Van, he was born, which was fabulous. Everything was going swimmingly. We got home, settling into life, the toddlers, getting used to things slowly. But my second son, unfortunately, fell really ill when he was 5 days old. And it was super tough because I think as mum the second time round, you kind of are a little bit slower to panic because you're like, oh, he seems a little bit off, but we'll just watch and, we'll just, check his temperature, and you don't panic as quickly. But things started going downhill. So we headed to the hospital, and it was an absolute crazy blur that week that he was unwell. Everything happened really quite fast, and we had to fly out. So we in Geraldton, which is a large country town. So we had to fly out to the city. And so my toddler had to all of a sudden go and stay with Nana and Pop, and hubby then had to drive down, and all of a sudden we were all apart. And it was a crazy, blurry time. There was a lot of heartache, not only missing my first son, but obviously for my son that was ill, and feeling like you couldn't do anything to help. That was the biggest thing, feeling like I couldn't do anything to help. And it was just, out of all of that, it was really amazing. Obviously mine and my hubby's mum and dad, so the grandparents were just swooped in, and they just were like, we've got this, we'll pack up this stuff, we'll take Ezra and he'll be fine, and we'll FaceTime you every day. And which was amazing to know that we just had that support. And our beautiful friends in Perth, our beautiful friends where we had to fly to, she bought us dinner each night and food, and just that community that came out was incredible. And it really, I said the first time around being a mama, I did try and go alone quite a lot. I guess sometimes it's hard to accept help. But this instance when my second son was unwell, just having that community flow in and accept that help freely and lovingly, and being so grateful for all of that has really taught me to, that the village isn't gone, and we do need a village, and not only in those times when times are really tough, but needing that village and loving that village and leaning into it has been really, really, really a big point that has come, a big lesson for me that's come out of all of that, and I think has been truly a gift. And now through all my life, I lean into community. I look for community. I accept help more freely, and I know that it is helpful. I don't try and resist it as much as I used to. And I think that's led me to be more open as well, and be able to share more, and especially with what I'm doing now, to share more and to and work with others. It's all about the community.
I love how you put lean in, though, that you lean into the community instead of pulling back. Because I can tell you, I am guilty, like when my boys were little too, of pulling away, thinking that the right thing to do was to do it all myself. And, you end up in positions. I actually had, my feet got burned. A handle broke off of a pot. I was boiling water, and it boiled my feet. And so I learned through that too. My boys were, I actually think it's kind of ironic. I think my boys were 1 and 3 as well.
Wow.
And when that happened, and so I understand that all of a sudden feeling that thing that you thought was like an illusion of not needing anyone, and you do need that community surrounding you, and you do need that, that place of help when it's out of your control. I mean, having a baby in the hospital, I can't imagine how hard that would be. Like, I can't imagine your family, like you said, was divided. I can't imagine having everyone spread out, and how you must have felt at that time.
Yeah, as a mom, you want your flock to be with
Yes.
you so you can make sure that they're all okay. And to have, especially a small child like that, you know, in one place, even though he was with his grandparents, well taken care of, but at the same time, not being able to be directly there. Thank God for things like Skype and FaceTime now, because that does make it a lot better. But you're still
Yes.
not physically there. So, yeah, I'm like Kim. I can't even imagine what it had to be like having your family all spread apart like that.
Yeah. It was full on, and I'm not sure, like, obviously you're not thinking when everything's happening so fast, but in the next few days following that, it really hit home. And I think because we'd only had the couple of days at home with the new baby and the toddler just before we were all spread out again, it was especially tough, I think, because of the emotional roller coaster leading up to having the second bubba. And but yes, thank God, he was on the improve within a week, and and he is now fully recovered and doing fabulously, and just so grateful for every day. It was really out of the blue, really unexpected, as it usually is, and to get that great gift out of the experience, even though it was horrible at the time, and that lesson that I learned has just been incredible.
I'm with you though, Beck, that I think I've learned more from my children than they ever learned from me. I think I'm the one that learned the most because of things like that. You know, that you do need to be open to things not being the way you expect. Because you expect if you were home and you were already getting acclimated to your sweet new little family all being together, and then you didn't expect that you guys would have to do that.
Mm. Yeah.
My youngest is 47, so it's been a while since I had little ones around, although I've got grandchildren and a great grandchild. But I remember I was very young when I had my three, and it was a challenge. And my one son did spend some time in the hospital, although it was not long term. He would be in there for like a night or two at a time. But if what kind of advice, besides accepting help, what kind of advice could you give to a mom or a dad that might be experiencing that right now?
I would say, besides accepting offers of help, besides that, I would say the nursing staff were just incredible. And if there was something that we were not sure of, instead of just worrying about it and talking between ourselves, and we just went up and asked someone. It didn't matter if they were the person that was assigned to the room that our son was in. We just went up and asked the question, and we just thought, hey, there's been that many parents through here before us with unwell children. I'm sure they've had this question, and we got over that really quickly. We just went out, we just asked. It might have been we were really, really lucky, and like they were providing us with different food vouchers, and so blessed with all of this. And I think one day we had, I think at the end, we were asking about giving them back because we had a few that we weren't used, and we're like, oh, should we just leave them in the room? And we just went up and we just asked, like, do you take these back? Is there another parent that can use them? And it's just more about, I guess it was that accepting the help, but then also giving back where we could. And I know that's not something that all parents will think about at the time, but I would say just be, just thinking about, just all the memories are sort of flooding back now, since I had talked about it only a little, like I said, up to this point. And the other point I would say is just obviously care for you as much as you can in that moment as well. And that is super, super hard, obviously, because you want to be with your little one as much as you can while they are sick. And depending on the circumstance will depend on how much you can. But yeah, even the nurse was like, just go have an hour nap and we'll call you on the phone. We'll call you when he wakes. And that was really hard. That was really hard at first to do that and leave him. And then when I started noticing that, I was like, wow, I don't feel out of myself anymore. Like I'm looking down on the situation from somewhere else. I actually, got a bit of sleep. Things became a lot more clearer and I felt like I could be there more for my child. So look after yourself. Very, very important.
So you even had like staff there that was giving you good advice about getting some rest. That's another part that when you go through things, when my son passed away, that was one of the things that I actually needed someone to tell me, you need to go and lay down. You need to go. And it sounds so silly when you're saying it out loud, but you are in such a state of shock when your baby's sick or something happens that you don't always make sense of the situation. And for someone to step in and just say, really just go take a nap or, go lay down, get a few hours sleep or, feed you, even just feeding you.
Eat this. Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge. And I think, I think God provides us that circle. Like, I think he does provide that. And I think sometimes we overlook it because everything seems right in our world at the moment. And then we realize when it's not everything all right, that, oh my goodness, these people are amazing and they are right here and available, and I love that. Like, I love that. And I'm sorry it's brought emotions like flooding back in, because I will be honest, this conference brings emotions back for me as well. And I have to really guard myself. I have to guard myself during this, the 4 days of this, because I can get caught up in and not take care of myself.
And I can't even imagine, Kim, what you've been through. And it's just the fact that you're out there and you're creating that hope and you're creating the community here, this Hope to Hope conference with Coni. I think that's just incredible. And I can't even imagine the emotions for you this week, but always, of course. But this bringing back some really strong emotions for you. So sending you big love throughout this week and always.
I appreciate you so much, Beck. You just don't know how much every time you pop up on my page, I think I just love you more and more just because of you have a big heart. Like, that is what attracts me to you, is you are trying to help mamas and you are trying to help people be healthier through, and I have to give my examples because, even just the way that I treat my hair, I've been following your coconut oil and essential oils. You are brilliant with all the essential oils. And I just told Miss Coni she's going to have to go back and find that video because you gave all kinds of tips that I can't remember in that video about how to, and that is a self-care thing. It is something, we want our hair to look good, but it's also self-care. You showed me how to have the same process, but it's almost like I have a spa treatment when I do it instead of just hurrying up and getting my hair washed.
Yeah, taking those little things and creating that moment of self-care, I guess, and treating yourself lovingly, using really nourishing ingredients and that are great for your health. And I'm so glad that you loved it.
Well, and anyone that's wanting to like know more about how to raise their babies more healthy, more environmentally healthy too, like not just inside but outside. I think that was another thing I love about your mission is you're talking about what you put on their skin and what you wash their nappies, I believe you called them in, and
Yeah.
and all those things that sometimes we just don't know. We just don't know that we're putting chemicals on our babies and it's causing them problems, but we don't realize it.
Yeah, that's a big mission of mine as well. Since I had my first baby toddler, he I mean, when I was pregnant with him, I started thinking, gosh, there must be a better way, like just cleaning the bathroom and smelling those fumes and not feeling very well. I thought this maybe isn't great for myself or my baby at the moment. And that sort of led me to keep researching about different natural solutions or alternatives, to look after our skin, to clean the house and different things like that. And that's what led me to baby products and going, hey, maybe this baby product isn't so great with these ingredients. And I thought, I'll make my own. I'll do a bit of research. And then I'm just sharing that with other mums now that are also looking to swap out some products for natural ones. So
I think more of that we could all do, like getting the chemicals out of our life. I mean, I think that's so important, and I applaud you very much, especially for moms that have small children around, because they're everywhere. Those kids, they don't realize that something might be dirty or germy, and so if you can find natural ways of cleaning, I just really applaud you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely close. Yeah, it's close to my heart, and I know a lot of mums are looking for something different and looking to get rid of the chemicals out of their home. So just sharing what I've trialed and tested over the years, and sharing what works, and hoping to just give them that shortcut, because it has taken a lot of research and trial over the years, and I can give them that shortcut and it's quick and simple and easy, because I know time is precious. Whether you've got little kids, whether you've got big kids, whether you've got no kids, time is precious, and we all want to give our family the best quality of life. And if I can give you the shortcuts for that, then that's what I'm here for.
I love that you have shared like part of your story, and I love that you share your heart all the time on your page. If you're not already following Beck, you need to go follow her, because she's got wisdom dropped in amongst all of what she teaches about, the health side of things, the healthier cleaning and the healthier all that. But she also is such a blessing. I think your attitude and your such a sweet spirit. Like, you just are a blessing every time I watch you. And I think I don't have any nappies to wash, but I sit and watch you anyway, because I think you're so amazing.
Oh, thank you, Kim. And I love seeing you pop up as well in my feed, you ladies. And it's so lovely that we can connect this far away and find community with each other. And we do definitely have some things in common, and maybe our babies aren't the same age, but we can still connect. And I think there's some things that ring true for mamas with kids of any age. And I do love connecting with mums, not just mums with little babies, but mums all around.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience that my kids, even though my oldest is 50 and my youngest is 47, they're still my kids. They're still my children, and I still think of them that way. They probably don't like that. They're all a lot bigger than me, and they're all boys, or men rather. But as far as I'm concerned, they might as well be 1, 3, and 5 years old,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for connecting with us, like, often. You are definitely one of our biz besties, and we hope that we can get over to Western Australia to come see you soon, because we would love to, like, connecting, as Kelly Cornelson says, IRL, in real life.
In real life. But
Yes.
in real life. Okay.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to show you around if you get over to Western Australia. And the States is definitely on our bucket list. So definitely we'll organise a catch up when we get over.
Well, and you already know you have a place when you come to Texas. You just let me know.
Or Las Vegas.
Thank you, ladies. Likewise.
Well, thank you, Beck.
Thank you, guys.
I'm Coni Meyers with Kick Butt Leadership.
And I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business Team. And we are wrapping up the last speaker for Hope to Hope. What a grand finale that was, though.
Amen.
Beck is amazing. Connect with her and go follow her and get a hold of some of her wisdom in her community, because she's amazing. We will be back for one final wrap-up session at 6 Central Standard Time, and it will be short and sweet, I'm sure of it.
Because some of us are tired.
Yes. Some of us have had all the excitement we can handle. So thank you, Beck, and thank you everyone who's watched.